Creatures of habits as we are, we love to dwell in the past and often feel that that defines us. Now, we couldn't be more wrong. A study showed that we have around 6,000 conscious thoughts a day, thought worms, as the researchers calls it. I feel a bit under the weather. Do I have corona? Would I end up at this ICU, or would it really kill me? Or, damn, it's cold. Why don't I live in a place where it's warmer, like the Caribbean or something? That will be nice. This damn cold weather. Now, I wonder what Jane thinks of me when I tell her that I bought these new shoes. She's probably gonna say that she likes them, and then she'll talk to Carol, and she says that I have no taste. What a bitch. You know, the important stuff. Hopefully, you also have some uplifting thoughts, like, I look pretty good in this new t-shirt and jacket that I have. Or, well, there we go. We booked to Spain. Here I come. I love it when I just can go on a short vacation and have the freedom to do so. But chances are, though, that most of your conscious thoughts aren't all that positive, because our mind is, generally speaking, more focused towards the negative. And it should, because the only task of your brain is to keep you alive. So it is programmed to look out for potential danger. Now, that is if you keep running it on autopilot. The autopilot is turned on by the subconscious mind. You don't actively decide to think something. Therefore, we call that the subconscious mind. And that is where the most things happen. Now, once we have repeated a thought worm long enough, it becomes a habitual thought. And it kind of just happens, right? The worries you have, the reminder of that pain in your left shoulder, or the decision to scroll your social media feed, etc. And the total number of thoughts we have in a day, they've never been scientifically discovered, although numbers between 20,000 up to 80,000 spread over the internet. And that's all right. I mean, it doesn't really say anything. The important part, though, is that all of our neurological pathways makes us think and feel. And if we indeed have around 6,000 active thoughts, it means that most of the thoughts we have has its source from our habitual subconscious mind. And our thoughts and feelings accordingly determine our actions. So the results we see every day are the results of these actions. Now that means that if we don't like what we see in these results and we want different ones, we should change these habitual thoughts and feelings. So change your habits to change your results. But how on earth do you do that? I mean, if most of these thoughts are happening without us even noticing them. Well, that's exactly the first step to take. Start noticing them by creating the awareness and then reverse engineering it using our senses and something we call anchoring. An anchor is a trigger that leads to a combination or like a train of events. One good example is our taste. If we see food, our brain triggers hormones that will increase our saliva. You are preparing yourself for eating the food. And that anchor is so strong that even the thought of food alone can do that. Now let's do a little thought experiment. Think of a lemon. See yourself in the kitchen, cutting the lemon in half, picking up one half, and taking a huge bite out of it. Now, what did just happen? Did you notice the increase of saliva in your mouth? Just the thought? That's the result of an anchor. And when we've become aware of these anchors, that we have them, then we can redesign the train of events following the anchor. Now, let me give you an example, a real life example. Every morning when I drove to work, there was at some point in the road a hole in the road. And not being fully awake, I always forgot there was that hole and a big kadunk of my wheel hitting that hole in the road again. Every morning. Only then realizing again there was that hole, right? So I decided I have to put an anchor to the event to not hit the hole. Now the next day it happened again, of course, and I quickly realized I needed an anchor. Now I saw that about 15 meters behind that hole in the road there was this parking sign next to the road. So I actively started thinking, when I see that parking sign, I know there's a hole in the road. And I repeated that over and over and again for let's say 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And the next day, I saw the parking sign in the distance and I steered around the hole. And up till today, when I see that parking sign at that road, I think of that hole. I mean, it's been fixed for years, of course, now, but that is the power of an anchor. And you can use this same technique to reprogram any anchor, right? So how to reprogram an anchor? Well, let's say you want to cut on the amounts of sugar you eat, since there's a lot of health benefits from not eating sugar or not so much sugar, right? Sugar or sweet foods has anchors all over the place. The nice taste, the way it makes you feel in a moment, and all kind of biological processes that keep the train of events alive. So we want to reprogram that anchor. Now, what if you would connect sugar with poison? Would you eat poison? Hopefully not, because instant death will probably occur. Now, from the health perspective, isn't sugar doing the same thing, but then in the long run? So if you agree with that idea, why not connect to the term poison to sugar? So next time you're in the store looking at cookies, say to yourself, these cookies are like poison to my body. And keep repeating that for as long as you can see the cookies, or candy, or the pain de chocolat, or even the bottle of ketchup, which also contains a crazy amount of sugar. I don't know, right? But it does. Now, by doing that for a week, I guarantee you that you will not buy these cookies anymore because they are poisoned, right? So you've reprogrammed your habitual thought from, I want it, it's not that bad, to, that will kill me, I'm not eating that. Now, it does take time to really make this into a belief system. Old patterns don't die easily, right? So if you don't keep reprogramming yourself, the old habit will return. Now, studies show that these habit changes take about 66 days on average, for some more, for some less. But to really build it into a full habit that comes from your whole body, it may take up to a full year before it has really overruled any other old habits. So, it might take a while. And don't be discouraged if it's not working after just 2 weeks, right? Just keep repeating that process. Now, habits come from our past actions, which we kept repeating. Actions that came from the way we think. Habitual thoughts are called beliefs. Thoughts you have been repeatedly thinking and therefore have become true to you, right? A belief, it's true. Now, a belief, what you think, is true. It's not a matter of the truth, because for you it is. And we have thousands of beliefs of whom we think we are, what we're good at or not, our religion, how you feel about money, your job, our love life, what healthy food is, what you like or love. Your whole life is built on beliefs. And those beliefs come from our experience, what people tell us, like parents or friends or even society, and the thoughts that we connect to them. An experience will be added with older beliefs we already had, and it adds up to this new belief based on these experiences. Makes sense, right? So if you agree with all this, which is also a belief, funny enough, then you can also imagine that when we change a belief, we will change our habits. So we will change our actions and therefore our results. Now, we've seen that in the subconscious mind, that most things are running on autopilot, right? We've programmed it the way for the most part, like that. And the beauty is that our subconscious mind just has to accept the thoughts, even the conscious thoughts we're putting in there. It has to. It's how it's learning. It has no other choice. And it doesn't care what kind of thoughts they are, positive and negative. It will accept them all. Now, if we only feed it with our past experience, our results we had in the past, it will always keep chasing the rabbit and be totally reactive to the circumstance. You can imagine that. You can't get in front of the game. So we have to change the predicted future. Now, what would happen if we start feeding the subconscious mind with what we would like or want to happen? If we feed it with the same intent as our experiences, where we truly lived it and felt it, then that subconscious mind also has to accept it as being true and as part of a new belief, a new habit, a new anchor. As we've seen with the example of the cut in half lemon, our subconscious mind does not know the difference between if it's real or just a thought. It will fire the same hormones. It creates the same feelings as if it's real. So when you imagine what you want to have or experience or create in your future and see it, you feel it, and you believe it as if it's happening right now, you are actively changing your subconscious mind. And that works for any belief you have, for any result you currently experience. Your love life, your career, the amount of money you make, losing weight, literally everything. It's like you're reprogramming the matrix, as Neo is doing in the movies, right? Hacking your own matrix of reality. Your own subconscious mind has created your reality, your world, based on your habits and beliefs. So change your habits, both the actions and your thoughts, and you can change your future. Now, do you take the blue pill or the red pill?